what?
Okay, so can you translate that in terms of symbiotic relationship between painting and photography?
Like them as one, like combined.
Yeah, for what purpose?
Like they kind of work off one another.
They work off one another. They're mutually beneficial. Photography and painting. So this idea that there has certainly been a symbiotic relationship between painting and photography since the very early 19th century. But remember when we looked at the David Hockney, the video of David Hockney, when he was talking about using the mirrors to project the outside onto the mirror, and then that's reflected back upside down on the wall of the tent, and he was talking about how artists have been using that camera lucidea since the Renaissance times. Remember this idea that artists have always used whatever technology is available to them to make art? So David Hockney was actually proposing the idea that there's been a symbiotic relationship between painting and photographic instruments or tools since the Renaissance. And remember that, the secrets of art? Is the video? Anyway, the link's up there on Blackboard if you want to go back and recall it. Can you remember? All right, so at the core of this debate is our understanding of the nature of photography and time-based work, so video work, film work. Is that then truth, fiction, or a psychological document? So reflect on these statements and participate in class discussions. So we've kind of been doing that over the term. So where are you standing on this? What's your opinion that you can then back up with evidence about that statement by looking at the works of your two artists? What's your even gut reaction to begin with to this question? What is fine art photography, and has this art form changed our notion of what art is? So what makes an art photograph art? What makes a fine art photograph or a video produced by an artist, what makes it art? How are you going to say that? What's going to be your opening statement in your introduction?
I think it has changed our notion of art. It's just expanded it.
Okay, that's a nice idea. Anybody think something different or subtly shifted on that?
It's kind of changed a little bit because the photography kind of gave us a more realistic view on things, and then art has developed from that as well.
Okay, so you're talking about then that symbiotic relationship and how that has developed both mediums. Okay, so that works. What else can you say? What about video? Why? Because video is brand new, isn't it? Video is a brand new technology. So could you maybe talk about the tools of art making as well? You know, there are any number of tools that artists have used. So back to the camera obscura, you know, that little mirror that's set up inside a dark tent that's reflecting what's outside through a hole, and then that reflects that back onto the wall. So that's like the lens of our eye. And artists have then traced around that reflection, turned it up the other way, and then done their painting. Maybe Leonardo did the Mona Lisa like that. We don't know. So that was a tool. That was a technological tool. But then we can even think of, away from photography, you can even think of a paint tube. you know, the invention of metal in which the paint, already mixed paint, was injected so that artists could carry their colours with them outside and go and paint from reality, rather than having to do their sketch, go back into the studio and reinterpret it on the canvas because they couldn't carry around all of their colour grinding equipment and things. So the paint tube allowed artists to see or express themselves in completely different ways. And that's how we ended up with the Impressionist artists, painting out in nature. And they were kind of like a photographer, weren't they? Instead of using the camera to grasp the reality of what they were actually seeing, they were using their eye and painting what they saw, the reflections of light and colour.
No, we just threw them into that porta bush.
So, you know, there's quite a variety of ways that you can tackle this. So you do need, though, to make sure that what you're saying you can relate to the two artists that you've chosen. It's got to be relevant to those two artists so that you can use their bodies of work as evidence of what you're saying.
You know the questions that you've gotten there?
Yeah.
Do we have to answer them in our essay as well?
No, but there's certainly things that you need to be aware of. So this is the things that you need to consider when you're forming your response. Things like this, you know, can we trust all photographs? It's part of this idea of whether a photograph is truth or fiction. Or how is it a psychological document? What is it telling us? In the case of Arbus, maybe it's not a psychological document of the subject, but of the photographer. You know, there's a subtle difference there. This one is technology new in art making. Well, we've just answered that, haven't we? But you need to think of ways that you might talk about this idea that photography and video is just another tool, another new technology that allows artists expression of their ideas. So yes, is it a tool or is it the artist that actually makes the artwork? Because if you just blankly say that photography and video isn't art, you see what I'm getting at? You just make that statement, well, a photograph and video can't be art. It's like saying paint can't be art. There's got to be this intermediary who is the artist and the intention of the artist that makes it art.